At certain points in Rise of Kingdoms, it becomes critical to make some major upgrades. In this video, we're going to be upgrading our commanders, we're going to be checking in on our KVK progress, including our technology, and we're going to be completing this event right here, Heart's Desire, so stick around. What's up, everybody? Psycho here with another Rise of Kingdoms video. As I mentioned in one of my previous videos, I'm going to be on the road here, so I don't have a video camera going on this one, but I wanted to share with you what's going on in our KVK, and particularly I wanted to be sharing this event right here, Heart's Desire, with you. So we've got a whole lot to do in this video. We need to upgrade our commanders. My previous video, I've talked about the new Scipio Prime and how I've been upgrading him. I've been working on him. We're going to show him here in a little bit. But I'm also going to be doing this event right here, Heart's Desire, which is a pretty cool event. You can see that we've got all of these commanders listed here. All of these commanders are not expertise. In fact, William, Guan Yu, Nebuchadnezzar, and Trajan are all really close to expertise for me. And I would really like to push them over the top in terms of their expertise. I also have Artemisia unlocked, and I haven't really worked on her yet, and she's a commander I'm kind of interested in growing at some point. So I'm going to be doing this event, but let me show you where we're at right now with our commander progress. So, of course, you know we've got a bunch of these commanders expertised already, like Nevsky and Saladin and YSG. But now we're looking at these commanders, these sort of in-game commanders. So here's Nebu. Nebu is a 5525, and if we check out where we're at on the skills, we're only 2 sculptures away from a 5535, which means we're another 160, so 162 total from expertising Nebu and unlocking this pretty powerful, pretty useful expertise, which does an additional 500 damage factor to the target we're fighting. If we look at Trajan, we are at 5552, and we're 44 out of 75 into a 5553 plus another 160. So again, we're getting close to expertising Trajan. This expertise actually adds some more damage factor. It increases the amount of rage gain for your nearby troops, and it also increases the amount of skill damage that they do. And more importantly, perhaps, or at least somewhat as important, is it also increases the defense bonus that Trajan gets over time. So that's really valuable. Guan Yu's expertise, not so powerful, but as you can see, my Guan Yu is a 5552, which really stinks. I'd really like him to be like a 5155 would be a lot better. So I need to add a lot here because we get a lot of additional damage factor from this 4th skill. The expertise is really not that great, but hey, if that's what it's going to take to get this 4th skill up, then we're just going to go do that. So look, we've still got 3 more skills to get into Guan Yu, including 30 out of 75 on this skill here. And then if we look at, well, the XY is not available in Heart's Desire, so we're not going to worry about him. I'll show you right here my Scipio. I did max spin him on this wheel. I got him to 55211 with about 6 extra sculptures. So I've got a lot of sculptures to put in him. I'm going to be expertising him here in this video. And now getting down here to William I, we're also at 5552. So again, 3 skills away from being my expertise. This one's quite a ways away. But anyway, all of these are ones that I'd like to expertise. We get a lot of extra defense bonus here from his 4th skill, and we do get some extra damage factor when we're surrounding targets here with the expertise. So a lot of value that I can be getting, and I'd like to get that out of Heart's Desire. You can see how many gold heads I have there, and I'm going to be using most of those gold heads obviously to expertise Scipio because we've got some fighting coming up here relatively soon. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Let's open up these keys on Heart's Desire. I'm going to open up 10 at a time. I've got some free ones so far, and I've actually gotten some commanders, so there's a couple of Trajans there. And look, the Heart's Desire event is really good if you're in a position like mine where you've got a whole bunch of commanders that you'd really like to get some more sculptures into. And that's exactly the kind of situation I'm sitting in, because that's going to save me universals that I would have to put in later. So there's a Guan, there's a Trajan, there's a Nebu. That's really great. I think there are some chances to actually get more than just a single sculpture, but I don't actually remember. But so okay, here we go. We got another Trajan, another William, and another Guan. Let me double check here. Yeah, the 1 times... you can get the sculpture times 1, but you can actually get full unlocks at a 0.195% probability, so it's pretty low. But hey, you know, you can only get it if you open a whole bunch of keys in all likelihood. So let's see, we got another Nebu, and there's a full Trajan, so that is awesome to get a full Trajan there. We got a couple of Nebus and a Guan. So I think we're actually getting to the point where we can actually put another skill into Nebuchadnezzar, which is fantastic. So this event is really a big change, a really big upgrade for me. Again, a couple more Trajans and an Artemisia, because it's going to allow me to save those universals and possibly to even expertise some more commanders before we get into some serious fighting. Again, some more Nebus, a William, a Trey. I mean, these seem like really good spins. Way better for me than the Legendary Tavern. Other people might prefer the Legendary Tavern, but for me, this seems like the way to go. There's a William and a Nebu. It seems like I'm getting a lot of Nebus. And here we go. We got a Guan, a Nebu, a Trajan, a Nebu, and another Trajan. So a lot of Trajans, a lot of Nebus. I mean, honestly, I'm happy with all of those. Artemisia is not bad, but she's the one I probably need the least here. Again, Nebu, William, Guan. I mean, I don't know if these are good based on the odds, but I feel like this is all really positive for what I'm looking for here. There's another William, another Guan, and an Artemisia. And what is happening? Oh no, I can't open anymore. I just now realized you can only open 100 per day, so I've made a pretty big mistake. I should have done this yesterday because just you can see I have a lot more keys here. I was hoping to open all of them today, but unfortunately this event is going to go away, so I'm pretty sad about that. I'll have to spend the rest of these keys over here in the Legendary Tavern, which, you know, quite frankly, just isn't as good. I feel like I'm going to get a lot of commanders that I don't really want. Well, not there in the shop, but here. I mean, there's a lot of commanders here that I don't really care. I don't care about getting Harold. I don't really care about getting it. Certainly don't want Edwards or Genghis Khans or anything like that. So I'm really pretty disappointed. I didn't realize that I could only open 100 a day. I was waiting for today to do this event, and now I sort of wish I had done it before. But oh well, you can learn from my mistake in that regard. So okay, let's jump over now to the commanders that we actually have. How did we do on Trajan? Okay, so we're still 12 away from putting another one into Trajan. Nebu for sure. I know we can put another skill in. Okay, so there we go. So now we are, 153 sculptures only away from expertising Nebu, which seems relatively cheap. Guan, we're still quite a ways away. And of course, we know that we need to put a bunch into Scipio. So let's go ahead and do that now. We want to expertise Scipio. So we're going to be putting a bunch of sculptures into Scipio. I've been testing Scipio a little bit just at this level, and I feel like his damage factor is actually very strong. Even on just barbarian targets, obviously, on player targets, it's the real place to test it. But I feel like the damage has been really good, just on a single target even. So, with the AoE, with all of the other utilities that he's now going to be adding in the open field, I feel like Scipio is just going to be a very strong open field commander. Surprisingly, he hasn't. I haven't seen him show up as strong in Canyon as I thought he would be. I thought he would be a pretty powerful impact in Lost Canyon and Sunset Canyon, but just doesn't seem like he's quite been like a must-have to be successful in Canyon. Okay, so there we go. We've got all of his skills unlocked. So here's where, if you take skill damage, can reduce that skill damage by 30%, and also provide a shield up to 3 allied troops. So that's pretty cool. On this one here, he gets some infantry health when he's attacking troops, and he also gets this continuous damage, which is actually pretty powerful as well. Even when I only had one skill on that, I felt like it was very strong. And then here, like I said, his skill damage is very good. He reduces enemy health, which makes him a really good primary commander, and we're going to see that's how I'm going to be using him. And then we get some more stats here with attack and more march speed. So this is actually going to be quite fast march. And then finally, with the expertise, we're not going to be, the skill damage increased by 10% is nice. I don't know if I'm really going to be getting this when the target is silenced a whole lot. I will have Guan in my Murderball, but I'm not pairing him with Guan. So I'm actually going to be pairing him with Honda Tadakatsu. So we'll see how well that works. Okay, so Scipio's got to be jumping way up here to the top all of a sudden. You can see the gear. I've already shifted the gear over him. This was the gear that was formerly on my Richard and is now going to be on him. I may move some gear around a little bit more. I may take some of this gear. I may take, for example, this off and put something else on Scipio instead. But it's going to be Scipio primary with Honda as the secondary. I'll show his talents here real quickly, the talent build that I'm going to be using. So I've gone all in on the infantry tree, obviously for all of these stats up here, the stats over here, even these extra stats out here on the side. I'm going to put 2 into rejuvenate because I want to fire off a skill cycle about as fast as I can, and I'm going to take a little less skill damage there. Now I'm also grabbing some stats over here for a little bit more health and a little bit more attack. Now an alternative build, and I'll just show it here on the screen really quickly. I think this would be a reasonable alternative build for Scipio, would be to come all the way out here and grab emergency protection, which reduces the skill damage that he takes even further. The problem I have with it is you're kind of getting a waste here. Enhances healing effects, that really just doesn't do anything for him because he's not getting any healing. And then you would want to come out here and all the way up here, and you'd want to put points in there to get the health bonus. Obviously we're going to want more rage here, and we're going to get this here, and that leaves us with about 10 points to go, and you can put those here for some little extra stats for all units. I would probably end up putting them here and grabbing this kind of march speed, and now with 6 more points I can go like 1 for some stats here, 1 for some stats here. I don't think I really want 1% attack there, but that might be the best place. I mean, you could get 0.5% health. I don't think that's that useful. So there's a couple of options here. One would be to grab Fleet of Foot and just max that out and put 1 more point there in attack. I guess that would be one option. The other option would be to end up wasting a point here in Rejuvenate and put some points into Cage of Thorns, which would slow the enemy march speed. It's actually quite good. I've used it on Constantine before, and it's actually quite good in the open field for slowing that enemy down, keeping them from getting away from you. I think this build, I would probably go with the Fleet of Foot and probably something like that. I think it looks pretty good. So this is a little bit of a tankier build, getting this emergency protection. But look, Scipio already has a lot of skill damage reduction, so I feel like this is the way to go. We're getting some skill damage reduction here, and then of course he has the skill damage reduction here with a 50% chance, so effectively you might consider that to be 30% skill damage reduction, 15% skill damage reduction there. So he's already got a pretty decent amount of skill damage reduction, but you can decide what works best for you. Probably in Lost Canyon, it would be better to go out here and grab emergency protection versus this build here. This build's got a lot more march speed, I think, in it, a little more march speed manipulation with Snare of Thorns as well. But it's up to you. So that's where we're at with our Scipio. I mean, I could really think about just maxing, and I'll think about this, now that I'm sitting here on 605 sculptures, putting 153 into Nebu seems reasonable to finish him. 160 plus 12, 172 into Trajan to max him also seems pretty reasonable. And then Guan Yu is really not that far away either. So, I mean, I could probably max all 3 of those commanders, which would leave me with my 1 primary here, XY, unmaxed, which might be the way to go. And then when that cavalry wheel comes around, I can really continue spinning for XY. And then, investing some more universals into William and maxing William. So those are going to be my marches. We're going to be using, let me just go back here. I'll be using Scipio with Honda. I'll be using Saladin. I've got to move some gear around. I'll move Nevsky's gear over, but for Canyon right now, I've got it set up this way. It'll be Saladin with William. We'll be using Nebu with YSG. We'll be using Trajan with Ethelfled. We'll be using Guan with Alex. We'll be using XY with Nevsky up here at the top, and those will be the 6 marches I'll be using in this KVK. Speaking of marches, right now we need to look at our KVK Tech to see where we are at. I've been, as I mentioned in the previous video, I've been really focusing on the econ tree to just sort of maximize the crystals that I'm gaining. And so you can see we've got attack formation all the way up to 9. Obviously, there's a lot more stats, another 3.5% attack for all troops if I can max that out. And that's what I'm kind of focusing on now. I've got to max all of these, and then I can push this up. Once those are all maxed, I can push this up to level 7, and then that will allow me to push this up higher, which will allow me to push up Barbarian Reports, which will allow me to get this. And then I can also get this over here. Well, that one I can actually work on now, but I need a little bit more to get that one. And then that will let me come back here and get this extra 3.5% attack for all troops. Obviously, Call to Arms, getting more troop capacity is really good. So I've left all of these at level 3, just so I can get out here and get some things like a special medicine to reduce the healing cost. I can't do that until I can put a ton more into swift marching. And that's going to require quite a bit more into those to get that even higher. I have gone out here and gotten an extra 3% troop capacity there. I've gotten an extra 2% healing cost reduction there, and I've got an extra 1% damage there. But it's going to be a while till we get those. And you can see that I've not yet gotten this one. This is going to take a little while, but getting that extra march will be critical for me at some point. This KVK. Now, speaking of the KVK, what's going on? I mentioned in another video that we didn't expect a lot of fighting early, and that's exactly what we've gotten, is basically very little fighting. For a while, this kingdom, or this camp up here, wasn't even connected to these passes because they had taken their fort out and were fighting. Sorry. That is, they went to the north zone. They didn't go to our zone really at all. So they're up here fighting. So there's basically been no fighting for us. They're still holding out with a sort of a wall of forts here that's kind of difficult to deal with because of the way that river's placed. So that fort wall's sort of kind of being a problem. But for the most part, I don't think there's a lot of action happening here right now that's sort of at a standstill. And then the only other real serious fighting took place was down here. And just to remind you, our enemies are here in the left corner, and our allies are here in the middle. And so here's this zone. So you can see that for the most part, our allies have, it looks to me like, yes, completely now. Earlier today they hadn't quite been there, but yeah, it looks like, yeah, now they have completely locked in our opponents. Yeah, it looks like a complete lock-in on this zone. So this bottom camp over here is not getting into this zone. So they're up here in this zone where there was no contest. Again, these 3 camps on the left-hand side are all allied together. I don't think there was much fighting in this zone at all. I'm not even sure if this camp went to this zone. I think they may have gone over here where, again, they had this. Again, yeah, there's just really no fighting over here either because those are all allied. So anyway, not much action. We're just kind of sitting out here doing our bastion quests and teching up to get ready for the bigger fighting to come. So look, that's where we're at. I hope you can learn from my mistake with Heart's Desire and make sure you use those keys a little bit more frequently. I really wish I could throw those 96 keys into this event, but unfortunately, I can't believe it limits you to 10 per day, particularly when you have so many keys available and you can save them up at your disposal. But anyway, that is how this event goes. Like I said, hopefully you can learn from my mistakes and do better in the future. Look, if you like this video, if you enjoy this sort of thing, let me know. Leave a comment down below. Give this video a like. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I will see you all in the next one.